second women's bout here.
So I would expect Paige to try and keep this on the outside, whereas I think Dourthe would want to try and get that clinch and go for one of those classic judo hip tosses, ideally ending up in side control. We've seen that a little bit earlier on tonight, and I think we might see it at least once later on as well. Interesting. It's some quick hands there from Paige.
Well, it's interesting also, Sebastian, the distance both fighters are at right here. No one try to overstepping their position. They feeling that if they go too close, they might be opening themselves to some sort of instant punishment.
Well, I like the way Eva Dourthe is managing the distance here. You know, she's staying just outside of the striking range of Paige. I mean, entering it, sort of going in and out, which is the smart way of handling things. The last thing you want to do is, you know, face a seasoned striker like Paige, a 5-time Muay Thai champion, and fight them like at boxing range. It's like one of the worst things you could do. So she's playing it smart, sort of staying just outside of kicking range, finding her rhythm, and then I'm pretty sure we will see a shot.
So a shot coming in there when she feels the timing is right. We'll just have to wait and see when that moment comes. And there you have it. It's Paige, in fact, stepping forward. Now, that's an interesting one with a...
I believe it was Dourthe actually.
Dourthe, excuse me. Yeah, Dourthe moving forward, absolutely.
They kind of turned a little bit as it was happening, but...
Exactly. We have different angles depending on the screens we look at here. Got to watch out for that one, Sebastian, indeed.
Yep.
It's like what you call a throw focus in the industry, isn't it?
Exactly. And you see they have both of them have an over-under position here in terms of arm positioning. So kind of at a stalemate. At this point, it kind of comes down to experience and strength, really. I mean, obviously, technique plays a part as well, but when it's so hectic, experience and strength can a lot of times be the deciding factor. It's hard to set it up when you're in the heat of battle, especially when there are strikes involved, shoulder strikes like we saw there from Dourthe.
So we had that moment of observation with both fighters at a distance. You mentioned, obviously, Dourthe staying away from Paige's striking capability, and this time we're close, in close quarters here, and again, trying to find the opening, trying to find the moment.
In general, I'd say that Paige has very good takedown defense. I mean, obviously, the striking is nothing that she needs to work on a whole lot. And as I mentioned, she does compete in BJJ competitions. She is working what she is aware of is her weakness in many senses. But expect her, you know, to look to catch whatever opportunity she can. I mean, after all, she works as a fishmonger, so she makes nets and, you know, is always looking for the biggest catch of the day.
There you have it. That's a very visual way of describing it, indeed. Going for the catch, and we'll see at what moment something's going to bite.
Some old school foot stomps there from Dourthe.
That's an interesting way of tackling the issue there as well. And Paige grimacing somewhat here, trying to find a solution of sorts.
She should probably think about disengaging, and it's easier said than done because you know she's being put on the defense here. She's doesn't have a whole lot of room to work, but small moments like that where she can try and angle out would really benefit her, because right now here in the clinch it's all Dourthe. She's got her opponent where she wants her. She's landing offensive knees, nothing fight ending, but you know, they are racking up points.
Sure. And the tally is looking indeed more and more in favor of Eva Dourthe in this 100% French battle out here.
And you could see it looked like Dourthe was trying to go for one of those judo sort of trips there, an inside leg trip by the looks of things, but Paige was aware and defended accordingly.
And so what's the way out here, looking at different possibilities, looking at different solutions? Again, the advantage for Dourthe here, just raking in those points, but she certainly will be looking for something a little more engaging, won't she?
Yeah, what she'll want to try and do is she want to try and step over and then put her legs over her opponents to try and trip. So she'll almost kind of turn her side in. That is the traditional judo hip toss. I believe it's called the sotogari, but you know, don't quote me on that. And my Japanese is not at its best.
That sounded pretty good to me.
But yeah, that would be the sort of go-to judo hip toss. For Paige, I'm a little bit surprised that she's not trying to work on a second underhook, because you can see she's got her head on the side where she doesn't have the underhook. If she can use her head as a little bit of leverage.
Up against SPEPHANIE Page, a 100% French affair. And interestingly enough, later on tonight, the main event of the evening will pit yet another French woman, Laetitia Blow, as she gets ready to go up against Lithuania's one and only Ernesta Kripetskaite.
And it was interesting there. Dourthe landed a right hand and got a smile from Paige, perhaps welcoming a couple striking exchanges here. I mean, no secret she would probably prefer to keep this on the feet. Oh, nice kick there. That's that Muay Thai background you can see there. That was just, you know, a perfect switch kick.
And we're back at the, oh, there you have it. I was going to say the distance we had at the start of round number 1, but the commentator curse again. Yes, the fighters just proved me wrong.
But that was very smart work from Dourthe. I mean, she ate the first kick on the guard, probably anticipated another one was coming, and then caught it. That is the risk when you throw a kick, that you do give your opponent an opportunity to catch the kick and then use it to take you down. I mean, many times they will, you know, take the kick on their arm or their side, which is obviously not preferable. But a lot of fighters will do it if it means they can get a takedown.
And now we're down on the mat, indeed, setting us up nicely for 3+ minutes of high-intensity action here.
Dourthe is coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Katarina Dalista. That was in December of 2021. So, I mean, I'm sure she's eager to get back in the win column, especially against a pretty hyped opponent like Paige.
Well, you could say it's a two losses in a row, in fact, for Eva Dourthe.
Yep.
Looking to snap that losing streak, indeed.
And I do expect Dourthe, you know, go in there all action and reach the highest of heights, such as when she went skydiving in 2021, something you'll never find me doing. But clearly, I mean, she does everything. Like I said, rugby, BJJ, boxing, training the French Navy, skydiving. I mean, it really speaks to the fearlessness that she has.
That temperament that goes the distance, indeed, just capable of going beyond and finding solutions, sometimes even when they're very, very difficult to find. And speaking of that analogy, this would be, oh, look at that, the intent right there as well, using the cage, using her entire body as the ultimate weapon, Eva Dourthe.
Yeah, that's very good top-heavy pressure, so just digging into Paige with her head and shoulder. And almost kind of stacking is what it's called when you have your opponent in that position. See there, Paige wrapping her own leg over the head of her opponent. That's, you know, mitigates any ground and pound damage that will come her way. But again, it's more kind of a stalling position.
So the stalling position here with the sub 2 minutes left on the clock in round number 2. As both women here continue researching for a probable or possible out in this particular situation.
But Paige is also one of those fighters where it's like you can't really count her out. I mean, let's not forget that she was thrown into Bellator facing one of her rising undefeated stars, Danny McCormack. And guess what? Paige knocked her out in the first round. Nobody was expecting that. The odds makers were losing it. And now we're back to her feet where Paige is comfortable. Oh, nice combination.
The combo, that was a pretty working mechanic right there. A nicely oiled mechanic. I was about to say, oh, there you have it. Another intense maneuver there as Eva Dourthe. I was going to say, with the probability of not getting a knockout against Dourthe looks extremely, extremely minimal, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, she's not staying on the outside long enough. It's like as soon as Paige starts finding her range and her rhythm, Dourthe just goes for that, you know, she just barrels in there, goes for the takedown. And here she is in half guard. And based on how long it took for Paige to get out of this, I mean, she had to get the referee's help for a stand-up. I wouldn't be surprised if Dourthe spends the rest of the round in top position, and that would seal it as 2-0 in rounds and forcing Paige to have to get a finish if he wants to leave her with a win.
That sounds like the tactical way to do it, especially for a military expert indeed. And we'll see how round number 3 can shape up, but it looks like Dourthe might just be applying the same game plan to keep Page down and just prevent her from delivering what she knows how to deliver oh so well. The end of round number 2 here, it's exactly that. 2-0 in favor of Dourthe.
For one thing, she can't get stuck up against the cage, because that has kind of been what's resulted in her ending up on the bottom, is that she gets a little bit stuck against the cage. As soon as she can't move as freely, she gets taken down.
And Page just having a hard time indeed finding her range. Dourthe just walking on eggs, if you will, just making sure she doesn't get at the distance that Page needs to apply what she knows how to apply.
And I feel like we're seeing a little bit more intensity from Page, and that makes sense. I mean, she's got to know she's down 2 rounds, and she's going to need a finish if he's going to leave her with a victory.
Oh, it's the now or never situation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, there you have it once again. Dourthe upping her game. She's just going to reapply the same tactics as we saw her do in round number 1 and 2.
Absolutely. That was just very nice timing, rather, and then use that outside leg trip to get the top position here. Once again in half guard, and plenty of time to work. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better start to the final round from Dourthe.
So we saw Page try to lift her left leg up there and just wrap it around Dourthe's back, unable to get in position there. She just has a veto on everything, Dourthe, at the moment, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, you can always expect judo practitioners, and especially a judo black belt, to be very, very top heavy. One thing that judo practitioners are very good at is just sort of using their shoulders against their opponents. That's why you see, for example, the scarf hold as a very popular submission for judo fighters. It's much harder without the gi. You don't see it as much in MMA. It's very rare, in fact. But expect that top-heavy control. You can see the way that she uses her shoulders and head to really just put all that pressure in the center of Page's chest and just under her head. And that makes it so hard to move and try to do something defensively.
It's like when you have a recipe that works and you know the result is convincing, why change it? And that's exactly what Dourthe is applying right here. She's done it round 1. She's done it round 2. So finish it off in style. Oh, but there you have it. Page's reactivity. Oh my goodness, as she got a shot in there, Dourthe knows it, and she pounced literally on her opponent and is trying to keep her up against the cage.
I mean, that's the thing. As soon as Dourthe lit up with that top-heavy pressure, Page found that opportunity, kicked her off, but she's not out of danger just yet. She's still in hot water. She's got to separate from here. She's got to break this over. So yeah, see, now she's finally trying to work on getting double underhooks, using her head as leverage, but recognized by Dourthe, who readjusts. Now, it's such small marginals. They do manage to separate. Just over 2 minutes left to go here. Can Page make something happen?
Kind of the last chance saloon for Page here, who needs to get that striking capability. And Dourthe, she has to catch Dourthe off guard. That's easier said than done. But Dourthe's extremely minute and extremely precise in this type of situation. Oh, it looks like Page might have a window of opportunity. If she can clip.
I think she's found a second wind here. I think she's feeling it. Oh.
The strength and the authority shown by Eva Dourthe.
Nice time there for a body lock takedown that she went for. As she claps both of her arms around her opponent and then just basically drove Page down.
That's the exact opposite of what Page wanted for the final minute and 40 seconds or so of this fight.
And then Dourthe, she's such a workhorse. Don't expect her to get phased by flashy strikes. I mean, she can sort of be down. She can, she's usually in this fight not the one leading the charge in terms of striking. She has eaten a couple combinations, but it doesn't phase her. She keeps her cool.
Keeps her cool as well, calm and collected, or as calm and collected as you can be towards the end of round number 3. But certainly very methodical in her approach to tackling this situation now. And she's keeping her eye on the prize. There's one way to go, a few more seconds to last in this position, to go walk away with win number 6 and stay in positive territory. Once again, 5 wins and 5 losses so far. So this will put her in green territory, positive territory indeed.
And it's been a while since her last victory. As we mentioned, she's coming off of 2 straight losses. So, I mean, it would just be an extra cherry on top if she does manage to score that win here on home field or on her home field. And with just 20 seconds left to go, it's looking like that's what's going to happen.
Well, there it is. Sub 15 to go. Page is back up on her feet looking for that judo throw, but Page wants none of it. Oh! And Dourthe losing a little control. She's regaining it right now. Only a few seconds on the clock. Wow. What a stellar way to finish off in style.
And that was the most judo takedown that we saw the whole fight.